Hello, and welcome inside the ACU TV or studio for this week's Optimist Newscast. I'm Paige Taylor alongside Connor Mullins. An ACU student has recently introduced cooking classes to the ACU community. Venture Out has brought cooking classes to Bullock Hall this semester. Here's more on the story. Students have been cooking up a good time and good food in the Bullock Hall kitchen for the last several weeks. The classes have been taking place weekly on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. since October 26th. The idea was pitched by Octavia Weber, a senior psychology major from Round Rock, in her Intro to Entrepreneurship class. She was able to pitch the idea of offering cooking classes to students after the students in the class were asked to find a problem that they felt ACU struggled with.
I noticed a lot of students didn't know how to cook for themselves, just simple meals that had vegetables included in it. And so I pitched the idea, and they decided to give me a great team of individuals that helped me bring this to a fruition.
Weber says she is very thankful to Venture Out for funding this idea.
For funding this idea and giving me a position and a place to think creatively and act on something that I'm actually passionate about while still being in school full time.
Weber is planning to continue these cooking classes even after the semester ends. For The Optimist, I'm Paige Taylor reporting. Construction continues to take place across campus, including renovations of Moody Coliseum and Cullen Auditorium and the demolition of Gardner Hall to make space for the second new residence hall. Moody and Cullen renovations began at the beginning of the semester. Moody is expected to host a grand reopening in the summer of 2022, and Cullen is expected to reopen during that summer as well. Demolition began on Gardner last week, and it will make room for new Hall 2, which the university hopes to complete in 2023. Kevin Campbell offered more updates and plans on the construction process.
So right now we have three major projects going on. We have the renovation of Moody Coliseum. We are about in month 11 of that renovation right now. Got several more months to go. We have scheduled the grand opening for Moody for August of 22, but we're trying to open it up for several events in the spring, and so hopefully we'll be able to still do that. The project's going really well. There have been all kinds of challenges with Moody, with construction, material delays, with the weather that we've had, back to the winter storm and just continued rain and some flooding that we had in the lower level of Moody. But overall, the construction is going really well, and we do anticipate that we will be able to open up Moody Coliseum in some capacity here in the spring 22 semester, and then it'll be fully complete sometime over the summer in 22. As we look at Cullen Auditorium is scheduled to be complete at the end of May. And so Cullen is just a touch behind schedule right now, but we are early enough on in the process that we believe that we'll be able to make that time up over the next several months. The big milestones for us with Cullen are to be able to have the new student orientation there this upcoming summer for the new students, and then to enable theater to be able to practice and rehearse for the homecoming musical that will take place in October of 22. And then we began the demolition on Gardner on November the 10th, and so it started coming down here in the next couple days. The demolition should be complete. And so for the months of November, December, January, February, those months, for the most part, what you'll be seeing is the clearing off of the site. Once the demolition is complete, you'll start seeing utility work happening to get the utilities, new utilities to the site, and then all the work to prepare for the concrete slab that will be poured that the new building would be built upon. And so we won't start seeing steel and that building actually being erected until the middle of the spring semester. And so still very much early on in that process, but the intended schedule is that what we call now New Hall 2 will be open in August of 23 is what our plan is.
The second round of rushing for this year started last weekend, including freshmen in the process for the first time in recent history. The Optimist Allie Jones has more.
I'm really excited. I think it's a cool opportunity that freshmen get to pledge as a freshman. at least, yeah.
Freshman rushing has officially kicked off for the first time at ACU. Starting with last week's all-club rush, sororities and fraternities now have a chance to connect with potential members before pledging officially starts next semester. For freshmen like Julia, it's an exciting but also nerve-wracking time. Many students see rushing as an opportunity to form a new community and to grow the connections that they already have.
I've met a bunch of really cool people. I knew a few people going in, and at the rushing event I talked to them, and it was I don't know, it was just fun because it's you already know people, and then you get to meet their friends and their friends. So I've met a lot of people from it, and then I made 1 or 2 friends in each sorority. So.
Freshman Ben Mahaney says that while the majority of freshmen seem ready to learn more about the rushing process, some students, especially female students, are nervous about getting bids from specific clubs.
I think they're all pretty excited about it. I know some that are nervous trying to get into especially the girls trying to get into the bigger clubs. But overall, I think they're all ready to go, pretty excited about it, yeah.
Despite the nerves, for students like Julia, the rushing process is still worth the opportunity for community. Rushing alongside her friends, making new connections, and falling in love with a club. For Julia, it's an easy choice.
It's just such a good experience. I feel if I didn't do it, I would be missing out on so much. Since everybody's doing it and everyone says this is where you meet your sisters for life. These are your really good friends. So, I don't know. I just feel you'd be missing out on that opportunity if you don't rush.
Student Life originally pushed for this new form of pledging in hopes to improve freshman retention rates by giving freshmen more opportunities to form community. In the upcoming months, we'll see if this break in tradition is truly a step forward. For The Optimist, I'm Allie Jones.
Up next, Wildcat basketball is in full swing while the football season will come to an end this weekend. Here's Connor Mullins with sports.
Thanks, Paige. ACU football broke its 2-game losing streak this weekend, hosting the Tarleton Texans at Wildcat Stadium. Tarleton put the first points on the board with a field goal in the first quarter, and ACU tied shortly after. The first touchdown came from a 26-yard pass to wide receiver Kobe Clark in the middle of the second quarter. The game was filled with Tarleton errors, allowing the Wildcats to make use of multiple opportunities. ACU won 29-3 with kicker Blair Zepeda setting a career record longest field goal of 53 yards, a yard longer than his previous record. Clark became the third ACU player in history to record a total of 200 or more catches in a career, just behind Taylor Gabriel's second-place record of 215 with 204 catches. The last game of the season will be a daunting one for the Wildcats as they go up against the undefeated Sam Houston Bearcats. The Bearcats look to defend their national title from last year as they close their season. The game will take place at 1 p.m. Saturday in Abilene and be broadcast live on ESPN+. Men's and women's basketball opened their seasons this week, each playing 2 games. Women have started their season with blowout wins against the Southwest New Mexico Mustangs and the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. During their first game, the women led in the first 5 minutes of the game with an 18-0 lead. After the first quarter, AC was ahead by nearly 30. The team never let that lead go, as it was 59-13 going into the half. The Wildcat offense hit a total of 17 three-pointers by the end of the game, which tied for third most in program history during a single game. The game ended 99-43 for ACU. The second game against UTSA went just as well, with the Wildcats coming out of the first into the second quarter on a 15-0 run. After this point, UTSA never took the lead again, as ACU won 72-53. Head coach Julie Goodenough said she was proud of how the team executed.
I thought our players did a great job locking in on the scouting report. Every team that we play has different strengths and weaknesses, and felt like our players did a nice job of trying to execute what we had worked on in practice that we felt like would be successful. And for the most part, I thought that we read the defense well. We tried to execute against their pressure defense. Did a really good job rebounding early on. The fourth quarter, they out-rebounded us, but I thought that our players were pretty intentional about trying to get defensive stops and ending with blockouts and rebounds.
The women's next game will be Wednesday, November 17th at 11 a.m. in Abilene. and broadcast live on ESPN Plus as the Wildcats take on the Angelo State Rams. The men will have their home opener Friday against McMurray, hoping to turn around an 0-2 start this season after losses to Utah and Texas A&M. Intramural volleyball champ games continued Monday night as the season for all leagues starts wrapping up. Sub T16 and Gone kicked off Monday night's champ games. Gone defeated Sub T16 2-1. With Sub T's losses, they are behind in the standings, which put them in 4th place. In addition to the men's league, the women's champ league had games Monday night. Gaeta defeated the Phillies by 5 points, and later that night, Delta Theta beat the BSU Panthers. This game was a close call as they had to go into overtime. With Delta Theta's win, the sorority will move up in the ranks. Games will wrap up this week with a double elimination style tournament to decide the winners of each respective league. That's all for this week's Optimist Newscast. I'm Connor Mullins.
And I'm Paige Taylor. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.